Hear me? Hear me? Yeah, I'm speaking now. Can you hear me? Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome along to our Super Speed Week of the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series here at Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Spain, just outside of Valencia. This circuit built in 1999 with the help of the government of Valencia, named in honour of the 2x50 2x50cc motorcycle world champion Ricardo Tormo, who was a native of these parts. We have had an amazing few days here at Valencia with rounds 7 and 8 of the championship being held over the course of Thursday qualifying, Friday racing, and a little bit of yesterday morning. Then we move on to the finals race meetings, which is what we're in the middle of now. We had a race yesterday in the finals race meeting, finals being double championship points for the EuroNASCAR 2 division. And we will see them fight it out in this race that will be coming up very shortly. It is their final race of the season. The champion is as yet to be crowned. And even yesterday, we had a different driver take over the lead of the championship. So it's all still to play out around this fantastic circuit. It's been a little bit cold, a little bit breezy for the last few days, but we're bathing in sunshine again here in Spain today, albeit rather autumnal feel to it all. And there's still a bit of a breeze around as well, to be perfectly honest with you. As for the circuit itself, let's just have a quick look at the circuit. If you haven't joined us for any of the other races, just to tell you a little bit about how it works at Circuit Ricardo Tormo. We're on the Grand Prix circuit, so it's just under 2.5 miles, just over 4 kilometres. It undulates up and down very slightly. There's some very fast, twisty sections in it, and a big long straight as well, 650 metres, that main straight. Key overtaking points on the run up towards turn number 2. Might take you maybe turns 3 and turns 4 to finally get the job done, but it is doable. We've seen some overtaking at turn 8, turn 11, and less so at turn 14, which surprised me because turn 14 last year provided some really good overtaking opportunities. So that's the way that the circuit looks. The grid for this race was set by the fastest lap times that were posted in yesterday's race. And therefore, we are going to see the winner of yesterday's race, who romped away to victory, was 13 seconds in the lead at one point, but backed things off towards the end. Tobias Downhauer, he is going to start from the pole. I'll give you the full order in a while when the cars head out onto circuit. Now, Tobias Downhauer not only took that win yesterday, he also took over the lead of the championship. And the reason he took over the lead of the championship was because erstwhile championship leader Vittorio Garelli had engine woes out on circuit, so they've had to change the motor in his number 18 Hendricks Ford overnight. So Tobias Downhauer leading a championship, leading the rookie trophy as well, 347 points, 8 points now ahead of Vittorio Garelli, with Alessandro Brigatti 32 points off the lead in third place. Julia Landauer won the lady trophy yesterday and finished overall on the podium in 4th position. First time since, I think, Spa 2012, when Carol Perrin finished overall on the podium, that we've had a female return to the overall podium. So delighted for her, got her best result of the season. And Vladimiris Choitsis finished in 2nd overall yesterday. He lies 5th in the championship standings. You'll notice there that they're broken into different categories as well, because for EuroNASCAR 2, we have the Rookie Cup for drivers in their first year. Tobias Downhauer leads that. We have the Lady Cup for females that compete in EuroNASCAR 2. Julia Landauer leads that in terms of the championship standings. But we also had the Legend Trophy, which is for drivers who are aged over 40, and the leader of the Legend Trophy, you can see, is down in 11th in the championship standings. That is Ariana Casserly. So that's the way that the championship works. 80 points for a race win in this one, though. 70 points for second, 68 for third, and so on. It diminishes from there. So in reality, there are still chunks of drivers that could mathematically still lift the championship crown, which is great to have. Still being the case when we are so late into this revised championship season. Heavily revised as well, because we should originally have been here at Ricardo Tormo for the opening rounds of the championship in April. As it is, it's been moved to the finals meeting, and they get the double header as well, rather than the usual 4 races in total over the weekend. 8 races in total this weekend. So there's a lot of work for the drivers to do. There's a lot of work for the teams to do as well, to be fair. The mechanics and all of the team members all obeying social distancing and wearing masks where they can't comply with the social distancing, have had their work cut out to turn the cars around, it's fair to say, with the amount of miles that the cars have done over the course of the 3 practice sessions, the 2 qualifying sessions, and the 8 races. A lot of work for them to do, so they'll be pleased, I would imagine, to relax a little bit for a day or so before they then head back to their respective workshops around Europe and start to prepare the cars ready for the start of the 2021 season, which will be coming up, amazingly, not many more months' time. So the cars starting to nose out of the garages. We will have Andre Weigold on hand once more as our roving reporter down there to have a chat to some of the drivers as they are making their way out onto circuit. there is Julia Landauer. Great result for her yesterday. Finished 3rd overall in the race. And so that means that Julia is now lying 4th in the championship standings. That's her only podium so far this year. She's been knocking on the door of it and has been so consistent this year, Julia Landauer. I mentioned that a few times yesterday, but she really has been. She's scored well in every single race and has been in the top 10 in most of those, to be absolutely fair. So she'll be hoping that she might be able to maybe go a step or two higher. Her results in the 3 races that she's been involved with so far this weekend: 8th in the first race, 5th in the second, and that 3rd place yesterday. There's number 22. That is another lady that we've got on the grid. 22 is Sierra Esteban, who is Spanish, so it's a home Grand Prix, you could argue, the home Grand Prix that she was involved with on Thursday and Friday. Now we move to the finals meeting. It's not badged as such, but she'll be hoping for better things. A weekend that hasn't fully gone to plan, I would say, really, for Sierra Esteban. 15th in the first race, 12th in the second race, and 14th in the first of the finals races yesterday. So sort of mixed results from her, but it's the first time she's been behind the wheel of one of these cars in the best part of, 6 or 7 years. So cars just working their way around the track. They will line up on the grid, and then we will hopefully grab a word with a few of them and have a chat and understand what their thoughts are heading into this finals meetings, as to, are they feeling the pressure? They know what they will need to do. You know, Vittorio Girelli really needs to win. He lost the lead of the championship yesterday with the engine woes for the number 18 car. He did retire quite late on in the qualifying session. Whether that was the same issue, he retired quite late on in the race. But the problem was, whilst he started towards the sharp end of the grid, the car didn't perform in the race, and therefore he didn't actually set a half-decent lap time in that race. Now, it's the lap time in yesterday's race that gives you the grid for today. So as a consequence, Vittorio Girelli not only lost the lead of the championship and retired from the race on the final lap yesterday, but the poor lap time sees him start 9th on the grid for this one. So he's got a chunk of work to do for Vittorio Girelli. Whereas Tobias Dauenhauer, his main championship rival, you could argue, leading the championship by 8 points. Still think it's Halloween, I think, some of the Solaris Motorsport team. That's their spotter. That's the amount of work he's done this weekend. Tobias Dauenhauer starts from the pole position, and every time we've had a race in EuroNASCAR 2 this year, whichever driver has started from pole position has gone on and won the race. So if we stick with that methodology as such, and the way that the history books have been written so far for 2020 championship season, then Tobias Dauenhauer should be heading towards victory lane. But there'll be plenty of drivers out there that would like to argue about that. It will be a 15-lap race as well, so it's just short of 61 kilometres they'll be racing. So into his grid position comes Alessandro Brigatti, lying 3rd in the championship standings. Here comes the pole sitter towards us now, Tobias Dauenhauer. That's the car that also leads the team's standings. The team championship is a separate championship, so it's the car that scores the points. So in this race, Tobias Dauenhauer will be scoring the points towards the team's championship. And when that same car races later on today, we'll have 2 races, EuroNASCAR Pro, with the driver Loris Hazemans behind the wheel. He will then be adding towards the team tally as well. So are we going to see the Hendricks Motorsport team lift the team title? I would have thought so, because they were 1st and 2nd in the team standings coming into this weekend, and have maintained that with the number 50 car leading the team's championship and the number 18 Hendrick Ford lying 2nd in the championship. So the cars are on the grid. Let's hand you downstairs to Andre, who's found our first person that we can talk to.
We're here with championship leader Tobias Dauenhauer, who could be the EuroNASCAR 2 champion if he wins the races, or he finished ahead of Vittorio Girelli. Tobias, a lot of pressures on your shoulder right now, but how do you feel ahead of this final race?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to the race. I start from the pole position, so the best conditions for me for the race. Hopefully I can show the same pace like I showed yesterday in the race, and yeah, hopefully it will be a good race for me.
All right, we wish you good luck and have a good one.
Thank you.
So there we go, Tobias Dauenhauer. As long as he finishes ahead of Vittorio Girelli, he won't need to worry about the maths. If he has an issue and starts to drop back and Girelli gets past him, then we've got a bit of mathematics to do. That's the car that starts alongside Tobias Dauenhauer on the front row of the grid, which is the Cypriot driver Vladimiras Joitsis. In his rookie season, went to the podium for the first time overall yesterday, where he finished in 2nd position. Again, a solid season really from the young rookie. I think there's only one occasion he hasn't finished inside the top 10 all year, and that was at Grobnik, where he dropped it into the gravel trap whilst right up there at the sharp end. So it really has been a mega season for Choitzis. So far this weekend, he had a 5th in the first race. He finished 15th in the second, actually, so that's another finish outside of the top 10, and then took that second place yesterday onto the second row of the grid. That's the car that lines up on the outside of the second row of the grid. Nicholas Risitano, he lies 5th in the championship standings. That's a car that's on the inside of that second row of the grid, which is a driver who is 3rd in the standings, Alessandro Brigatti. So that's the Feed Vict racing car of Alessandro Brigatti. And he will be hoping that the 19-year-old Italian might be able to propel that car towards victory lane. We haven't seen a win for Alessandro Brigatti as yet so far this year. He's had second places, he's had thirds, but he is as yet to stand on the top step of the podium. Well, that's all for the moment. I'm going to hand back downstairs to Andre, who's found another driver to have a chat to.
We're here with Julia Landau. It's your last race of this first EuroNASCAR season. How was it so far?
It's been good, and it's just been getting better. So we've had a really good weekend so far, so hoping we can build on it, stay smart, stay clean, avoid incidents, and see if we can improve on yesterday's podium.
What's your goal for today?
I mean, the goal is to win. We're starting a lot further up. I know it's challenging. I know the other guys are really fast, but if we can have a strong finish today, that'll be great.
All right, thank you very much and good luck. Back to Mark.
Yeah, very valid point made there by Julia Landau. She's starting much further up today, was what she said. Well, yesterday she started 10th and finished 3rd, so that was good progress that she made. I did say at the beginning of the race, watch out for her. She qualified out of position as far as I was concerned, and I thought she'd be sort of top 6 in qualifying. She only managed 10th. And as a result of her performance yesterday, she also gained the most places from her starting position to her finishing position, so she picked up an extra 8 championship points for that. So now that she's starting on the 3rd row of the grid in 5th position, what might she be able to do for there? That's the car that will line up alongside her, which is Simon Palat at the wheel of the Feed Vict Racing EuroNASCAR FJ. He was a semi-finalist in their selection process. He's only 18 years of age, the young Belgian, Simon Palat. And say again, yesterday, his 4th place was his best result of the season. So the cars that finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th yesterday all had their best results of the 2020 championship season. So we'll see as to who is going to feature towards the sharp end in today's 15-lap race. Well, the national anthems will very shortly be being played. We will remain silent for those. There is the very unusual mascot that Solaris Motorsport have. The skull with the mask, with the shades, with the hat, all looks very unusual to say the least. And with no spectators here this weekend, the 120,000 seats are largely empty. It's just team officials, technical officials and spotters that are allowed into the facility. Such a shame that it lies empty. So national anthems are being played by the sounds of things. We'll respect those and remain silent. There we go, the Spanish national anthem playing on the build-up to our final race for the EuroNASCAR 2 division in the 2020 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. The flag's still fluttering, the breeze is still reasonably strong. You can see everybody's wrapped up as well, so it is, whilst sunny, still rather chilly. Let's guide you through the grid. It's number 50, Tobias Downhauer, who leads the championship, and he starts from pole position. Alongside will be the number 1 car in the hands of Vladimiras Choitzis. Row 2 of the grid is is number 8, which is Alessandro Brigatti, alongside the 12 of Nicholas Rusitano. And row 3 of the grid, Julia Landau, we heard from her, and 6, which is Simon Palat. The 4th row of the grid is 99, Kenko Miura, and 89, Nave Talor. Both of those drivers making their first appearance in the series this weekend, and therefore they are not scoring championship points. And row 5 of the grid was leading the championship until yesterday. Number 18, Vittorio Gorelli, 4 race wins under his belt so far this season, but work to do from 9th on the grid if he wants to head towards the top of the standings at the end of the season. Alongside him is number 17, Mirko Schultes. The 6th row of the grid is Levi Lintukantu, another non-championship point-scoring driver, the Finn making his debut in the series this weekend, alongside 31, Giovanni Trione. Row 7 of the grid is 98, Dylan Dare-Darla. I think he will make progress from that position on the grid, way down in 13th position. Alongside him is 46, Yevgen Sokolovsky, who's been a busy guy this weekend. He's been racing both in this and in EuroNASCAR Pro, so he is now competing in his 6th race in a couple of days, with still 2 more to do after this one. A busy guy. Row 8 of the grid is Sierra Esteban, again another non-championship point scoring driver this weekend, and alongside her is number 54, which is Ariana Casoli. Row 9 of the grid is 33, which is Eric Quintal, and number 7, Martin Dubeck, who again will make progress, 18th on the grid, but he went out on the very first lap of yesterday's race with some sort of mechanical issue bringing the car into the pit lane. Didn't as yet get to the bottom of what the issue was, but watch out for the number 7 Hendrix Ford. It should make progress from there. And off the back of the grid, was put to the back of the grid because he had an interesting race yesterday. He caught our attention on a few occasions, not always for the right reasons, it was deemed by the clerk of the course. Back to the back of the grid has gone number 48, Francesco Garisto. So again, another quick driver is Francesco Garisto. Should make progress off the back of the grid. So the engines have already been struck into life, and these drivers are about to propel themselves for the final time this season around a racetrack, because, as we say, this is the last race for the EuroNASCAR 2 division. We've got the final 2 races for EuroNASCAR Pro coming up live later on today. But this is the championship deciding race for EuroNASCAR 2, and as we say, 80 points available for the race win. And with, what have we got, 79 points separating the first 8 drivers in the championship, it's still all wide open. Now, mathematically, I think the vast majority of drivers on this grid are unable to secure the championship. But if we look at someone like Nicholas Rusitano, for instance, he lies 6th in the championship standings. If he were to win it, and big problems befall Tobias Downhow and Vittorio Gorelli, mathematically it might just about be able to happen, but really surely it's going to come down to Tobias Downhow and Vittorio Gorelli, who were separated by just 8 points. I would have thought one of those 2 would be the champion, but there could be a twist in the tail that we just don't know about at this stage. So the car's heading around the circuit. All weekend they've been doing 2 formation laps, largely because of the cold temperatures. It just gives the drivers that extra opportunity to build some temperature into the controlled General slick tyres that they all use. General Tyre have been the tyre providers to this series for a couple of seasons now. A solid tyre that they produce, and one that provides good levels of grip, but it's also durable as well, because the drivers are limited to the amount of tyres they can utilise. For the race yesterday and qualifying that took place, they were given just 2 new tyres, and they've got those 2 new tyres to see them through qualifying, a 30-minute qualifying session, yesterday's 15-lap race and today's 15-lap race. So even those 2 new tyres will be feeling a bit second-hand at the end of this one, let alone the other 2 that they've carried over and have used over the course of Thursday and Friday. Rusitano, right, okay, be careful, Nicholas Rusitano. You almost made a mistake there on the formation lap as the car sort of got away from him a little bit there. So he's weaving as much as he possibly can and almost got caught out at the wheel of the number 12 Solaris Motorsport Chevy. Mainly Chevys in the field. We've only got 5 Fords. That's one of them. That's one of them that I said watch out for. That Orion-backed Hendrix Motorsport prepared Ford Mustang of the Czech driver Martin Dubeck is surely going to make some progress, because we've seen Martin Dubeck start from pole so far this year. He's claimed a couple of wins as well, both of his wins coming at the NASCAR Grand Prix of Belgium at Zolder, former Grand Prix circuit. And so far this weekend, Dubeck has had a 2nd and a 4th, and then that first lap retirement in the double points race yesterday. So that really didn't do his championship aspirations a great deal of good at all. And to be fair, he's done a really good job of being where he is in the championship, Martin Dubeck. 7th coming into this race, but he didn't race at Vallelunga. He missed the first 2 races of the season, so you could argue he's sort of 80 points adrift of otherwise where he would be. And how many points is he adrift of the race leader? 79. So, oh, right, okay, there is Francesco Garisto, right, okay. So, whereas Nicholas Risitano almost got caught out with the weaving, Francesco Garisto clearly did. So, he's now had to get the car pointing back round in the right direction and, rather red-faced, leave the scene of the crime as such. He has managed to catch already, back up though with the Ford ahead of him. So watch out for that number 48 car off the back of the grid. Quick driver was Garisto yesterday. Got a little bit beaten up on a few occasions with damage to the tail end of his car, and then at one point went off and put more damage on the tail end of it, and had a few issues which ultimately saw him pushed to the back of the grid for this one, for some of the driving that took place yesterday. But he will certainly want to make sure that he has a clean race, and has got the unenviable task of having to work his way through the whole field, a bit like Martin Tubeck has at the tail end of the field. So where is Vittorio Garelli? He'll be heading through shot now. There goes the 18 car. So that's the driver that was leading the championship up until yesterday. Starts 9th on the grid, Vittorio Garelli. So there is work to be done for the Roman if he wants to try and haul his way up through the order. 26 years of age now is Vittorio Garelli. Second season in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Took over the lead of the championship in Croatia. Held it up until yesterday's race. And that's the driver who finished 3rd in last year's standings, did Vittorio Garelli. Do like the livery on the new number 99 as well, re-liveried for this weekend, in the hands of the Japanese driver Kenko Miura, who rejoins us again. Kenko, 41 years of age, finished 3rd in the Challenger Trophy standings last year. Actually 19th overall. He was the Challenger Trophy champion in 2018, which was his 2nd year in EuroNASCAR. We first saw him out in 2017 in the championship. This is the only round he's been involved with this year. Good to see Kenko back. He's been going really well, I've got to say. So the car's heading through Curva de la Emisión up towards turn number 8, which is Bernard Martinez. And then from there, they'll start to descend downhill through turns 9 and 10. And then when they get to the exit of turn number 11, that's when there's a short straight, and that's when the instruction will be given that they need to get themselves into 2x2 order. So whether you are starting on the inside lane or the outside lane, get yourself into the order ready for the start, and we will very shortly then see the green flag waved for hopefully the final time. We might go green all the way in this one. It would be good if we could. We haven't had too much safety car. We have had one race finish under safety car throughout the course of this weekend, but other than that, we haven't needed a great deal of safety car deployment particularly, and let's hope that that is the case in this one, because we have got a champion to crown at the end of this race. Is it going to be Tobias Downhauer? Is it going to be Vittorio Garelli? Could it be somebody else that steps up to the plate and does something miraculous and therefore hauls themselves into a potential championship winning position? Well, we will know all of that at the end of this 15-lap race, the final race of the 2020 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, EuroNASCAR 2 division. Watch out for the quick cars off the back of the grid. Pace car pulls into the pit lane. Buckle up, everybody, for the final time in EuroNASCAR 2 in 2020. We are about to go green for the last race of the season. Tobias Downhauer and Vladimiris Choitzis on the front row of the grid as they charge their way up towards Aspar for the first time. It looks as though Tobias Downhauer just covers off any move from Nicholas Risitano, just to make sure that he leads as they head in towards the first of the left-handers. Vladimiris Choitzis right on the exhaust pipes of Tobias Downhauer, but it's all safe for the moment through turn number 1. Risitano trying to look at the inside of Choitzis heading in towards 2, puts Vladimiris Choitzis offline, which allows Alessandro Brigatti and Giulia Landau to try and squeeze their way through, and Vittorio Garelli is trying to come past all of them. He is not hanging around. The Italian up past Landau, then past what is Alessandro Brigatti, so I think that's 4th or 5th already for him, and he knows what he needs to do. Problems, I'm afraid, for Dylan Deardala, who's got spun around and is facing the wrong way in the gravel. I think he might be able to dig himself out, but what a first lap from Vittorio Garelli. He is in 4th position, that will be, right on the bumper of Vladimiris Choitzis, weaving his way around. Is he going to try anything at turn number 8? No, not quite. Choitzis is trying to attack Risitano's Solaris Motorsport Chevy, and all of this is just allowing Tobias Downhauer to just escape up the road a little bit. So through turn number 9 up towards turn number 10. Vittorio Garelli also needs to watch his mirrors. Now he's got the overlap here coming out of the next corner, turn number 11, to try and sneak through and past Vladimiris Choitzis. That would put him up into 3rd place if he can make it stick. but he hasn't been able to do so by the look of things, so looks as though the order still remains the same. The number 12 car, Risitano, second. Vladimir's choices in the white and pink and green Alex Cappy Race Hard Technology car sitting there in third place, and the Hendricks fourth, number 18 of Vittorio Garelli completing the top four over the start-finish line. This is going to be the first lap that is now completed. Tobias Downhauer trying to make good his escape, whilst Nicholas Risitano is having to defend from Vladimiris Choitsis, who's looking for the inside line, heading up in towards Aspar. The Cypriot goes through and ahead of the Italian, but then cuts back on the exit of the corner, and Garelli goes around the outside of both of them. By the look of things, ran very, very wide, did Vittorio Garelli. Might get a warning for that, but it does look as though he has gained a couple of places. Whether they are going to count or not, I'm not entirely sure, because I gather safety car might be being deployed. Yeah, there they go. We can see everybody backing off because Dylan Derdala's car is stranded in the gravel trap and not that far off the edge of the circuit by the look of things. So safety car comes out, which means that those 2 places Garelli gained aren't going to count, because they will reorder the field to the lap prior. So he might be second on the road now, Garelli, but he's going to have to try and work out where to get those places back, because by the time we get the field reordered, he will drop back behind the 12 and drop back behind the number 1 as well. It also means that Tobias Downhauer, who had made good his escape to the tune of 2.5 seconds nearly, or 2.1 seconds rather, after just 1 lap of racing, is going to see all of that advantage evaporate before his very eyes. That is not really what he wanted. He would have been desperate for the race to stay clean so that he could just build the momentum and disappear off into the distance, whilst everybody else is squabbling over the scraps in reality. Now, whilst Downhauer leads under safety car, just run you through the order. So number 50, Tobias Downhauer in the Ford leads the race. He's the leading rookie that we've got. Number 12, Chevy of Nicholas Risitano is second. The number 1 Ford of Vladimir Stoichkis is third. Fourth is number 18, Vittorio Garelli. Fifth is number 8, which is Alessandro Brigatti. Sixth is number 6, which is Simon Palat. Seventh is Julia Landau. She started 5th, so she's actually gone backwards from where she started, Julia Landau. She is the leading lady that we've got in the field as well. 8th place is Nave Talo. 9th is 31, Giovanni Tironi. And 10th place is number 22, which is Sierra Esteban. 11th was Francesco Caristo from the back of the grid, remember. 12th is number 7, Martin Dubek, also off the back of the grid. 13th is Yevgen Sokolovsky, so he'll be the leading legend driver that we've got in the field for those aged 40 and over. And he's ahead of number 99, Kenko Miura, and Levi Lindecanto completed the top 15. So that gives you the top 15 cars at the conclusion of the first lap of racing. But as we say, there might be a little bit of reordering that will need to be done from that. I certainly think they will reorder Garelli from 2nd down to 4th, I would have thought, but we'll have to wait and see. In the pit lane also, problems for the Mitsubishi Motors number 70 car of Mirko Schultis. So that is one of our legend drivers, Mirko Schultis, with problems, lying 15th in the championship standings coming into this one. That would put him, I think, 4th in the Legends championship standings. And he's going to lose ground on those around again for Mirko Schultis. So Derdala's car now out of harm's way. The 55-year-old German Mirko Schultis in the pit lane. The pace car or lead car or safety car, as you wish to call it, just leading the pack around. They're all still trying to weave to try and maintain that temperature in those tyres as well. And in reality, they're now on lap number 3 of the scheduled 15. So for those drivers off the back of the grid, the safety car isn't good either for Martin Dubek or Francesco Caristo, because it gives them less green flag running, which means there's less opportunity for them to overtake and work their way up through the order. So all of the cars at reduced speed. I think with Dylan Derdala's car out of harm's way, it's just reordering now that we need to get sorted, and once we've got the field reordered, we should be able to go back green flag racing, maybe another lap or 2 laps. Yeah, there we go. Right, I've just seen Nicholas Risitano go past Vittorio Garelli. I think, yeah, Vladimir's Choices has as well. So they have now, yeah, they're in the process of doing the reordering. So as I expected, Garelli, who had taken up 2nd in the race, is going to have to give it back again, which he has done. He's allowed those 2 cars to get back past him as the reordering takes place, and any other changes of order will also be sorted as well. Not just that one, anybody else through the field, we go back to the lap prior to going full course caution and order the field on that basis. So I think once we get confirmation from race control the lineup is good, we will be able to go racing again. Confirmation from race control, lineup is okay, so the lineup is exactly as it should be. Any reordering has been carried out, which means that this hopefully now, in theory, will be the last lap behind the pace car. So we should be going green again at the end of this one. So it didn't take too many laps. I didn't think it would. Great work by the marshals and the recovery crew to get Der Dahler's car out of harm's way. Not sure that Mirko Schultes has rejoined us yet. Let's have a quick look. Yes, he has. Yeah, Mirko Schultes' car that we saw in the pit lane has also rejoined as well. He hasn't quite as yet caught up with the train of cars. He's just working his way around the circuit and should be able to just about catch up and join the tail end of the train before we go green. So Dan Howard has got it all to do again on this restart, starting on that all-important inside line. The first corner here as well is quite a quick corner, Aspar. It's left-hander. It's taken in third gear as well. There's only one point of the circuit they use fourth. That's on the 650-metre start-finish line is where they'll hook fourth, but all the rest of the circuit, the corners are second and third gear corners. So Aspar being a very quick one. We've seen lots of drivers utilising the tarmac on the outside of it. Now, rules state that to stay within the track limits, you have to have a wheel on the red and white painted curbs as you exit the corner or as you turn in towards the apex. If you go beyond that red and white painted curb and have all four wheels onto the green areas, then you are breaking the track limits. Now, you can do that a couple of times. If you keep doing it, you'll get a black and white warning flag. If you then don't heed that warning, the penalties become ever more draconian. So I think Vittorio Garelli utilised the opportunity to go beyond the curb line to great advantage when he moved from fourth to second before the safety car came out. But unfortunately, it didn't really work for him, did it? Because safety car coming out means he's got to drop back to fourth again. So they are shortly going to be getting themselves into 2x2 order because they're just heading up towards the highest point of the circuit now, which is turn number 8, Bernard Martinez. Last little bit of sweeping up being done by our track officials and marshals, without whom we could not go racing. It was the FIA volunteers weekend last weekend, and just to sort of again remind us all that without the volunteers in motorsport, we would not be able to go racing. So that was what last weekend was all about, FIA volunteers weekend. And here we are a weekend later and they're still working ever hard. So we're not going to go green this time through because of the sweeping up that still needs doing. So the lineup is okay. The cars are all out of harm's way. It's just those last little bits of sweeping up of gravel that needs sorting, because we can't really leave gravel out on the track because it acts as marbles in reality. It's like driving a car on marbles. All of a sudden you'll turn into the corner, the tyres will head onto the gravel, and all of a sudden you've got hardly any adhesion at all. So the sweeping up is absolutely critical for them to do. Start will be single file is the information that we've just received as well. So it is not going to be a side-by-side restart. It is going to be a single file restart, has been decided by the race officials. So that means that for Vittorio Garelli, not only has he dropped from second to fourth, but there's less overtaking opportunity now as well when we get the race back underway. And we are now already on the 5th lap of it, so 10 laps to go, or 11 I suppose laps to go. Martin Dubeck still trying to work his way from the tail end of the field, the Czech driver, 2 times a race winner so far this year, Martin Dubeck. Those his only 2 wins in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, but without question he's going to add to that tally if he remains with us in 2021. He's always been a driver towards the sharp end of the championship, hasn't necessarily always had the luck. First appeared, it was 2015 I think, was the first year that we saw Martin Dubeck in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Former kart racer, so just 25 years of age still, and hopefully returning to the championship in 2021 as well. There is Eric Quintal. He had an off earlier on this weekend, so the number 33 Mitsubishi Motors car not handling quite as well as it had been doing before the accident, was the information we heard from the team, and in particular it's NASCAR Pro driver Luca Lasser yesterday. So Eric Quintal is towards the tail end of the field. There's Ariana Casserly, one of 3 ladies that we've got in the field. Ariana is a former double lady trophy champion, the 46-year-old Italian. She was the champion in the Lady Trophy in 2016, 2019. She was runner-up in it in 17 and 18 as well. So again, she's another driver that's been around the championship for a good few years now. but we are about to go green this time through. So single file restarts, the safety car will peel its way in towards the pit lane, and then we'll be able to get the race back underway with Tobias Dauenhauer leading Nicholas Risitano, Vladimir Choitzis, Vittorio Garelli, Alessandro Brigatti and co up towards the start-finish line. The green flag will fly and we get racing back underway in our final race of the season. There's cars swerving around towards the tail end of the field because somebody's lost some bodywork, so there must have been some contact there somewhere. Somebody got away slowly, and I think it might be Martin Dubek's car that's got damage to the rear bodywork on it. The number 7 Ford looked as though it had got flapping bodywork. Vittorio Garelli has already picked off Vladimir Choitzis. He's now looking to try and run himself alongside Nicholas Risitano. Needs to be careful though, because he's got Choitzis right behind him, and all of this is just, again, I think this squabbling going to allow Tobias Dauenhauer to try and break away in the lead of the race. There's a little bit of the bodywork that's being shed on the track, but watch out for that number 18 car. There is going to be fire in the belly of the Italian Vittorio Garelli. He knows the task that was in hand. He knew that he had to catch up and get ahead of Tobias Dauenhauer if he wanted any chance to try and retake the lead of the championship. Well, he's driving the socks off the car at the moment, trying to see if he can haul himself up through the order, but he's still got one more important overtake to do, and that's on the number 12 Solaris Motorsport Chevy of Nicholas Risitano, his fellow countryman. Risitano is not going to make it easy. Dauenhauer, as a result, is just escaping up the road a little bit, not by much. Nicholas Risitano still making sure that he keeps Vittorio Garelli behind. Is Garelli going to be able to try anything as they go out of turn number 11? Not entirely sure he was going to be able to there. There's Nave Talor at the wheel of number 89 car. Nice to see Nave, another teenager, back in the championship. Garelli is just the opportunity he's been waiting for. He's trying to prise the door open on Nicholas Risitano up towards the final corner at Adrian Campos. Through he goes. So Vittorio Garelli now up into second position and can now set his sights on the race leader and championship leader Tobias Dauenhauer. Now, the way it works at the moment, Garelli is second in the race, 409 points he would finish the season on. Tobias Dauenhauer leading the race would finish on 427. That's in the order that they are in. But if Vittorio Garelli picks up the lead of the race, he would finish the season on 419. If Tobias Dauenhauer then dropped to second, he would finish the season on 417, and Garelli would win the championship by 2 points. So Garelli has to catch the race leader. He has to try and take the lead of the race and do it cleanly as well, of course, if he wants to become the EuroNASCAR 2 champion for this year. The battles down through the order still continuing, as well as number 8, which is Alessandro Brigatti, comes with a huge attack from the Cypriot driver Vladimir Choitzis, fresh from his first podium of the season yesterday, where he finished in second position. He is going to be hugely keen to try and work his way up from what is 5th at the moment, but certainly that Ford has been quick all weekend. Choitzis has had a solid rookie season, I've got to say. Really only made, one or maybe 2 mistakes all season, but has largely been in the top 10 and top 6 for a good chunk of it. At the moment, having to give second best to the Feedvic Racing number 8 Chevy in the hands of Alessandro Brigatti, the 19-year-old Italian who we saw racing in this series last year. Finished 11th in the EuroNASCAR 2 standing for Brigatti last year. Towards the braking area for Adrian Campos. His Choitzis at the inside. He is up the inside. Is he going to push Brigatti wide going out of the corner? Not as wide as he could have done. Sensible driving by both. Choitzis has got the job done and now hauls himself up into 4th position. Over the start-finish line comes the race leaders. The gap first to second has come down on that lap, so Vittorio Garelli is slowly catching Tobias Dauenhauer for the lead of the race. It was just over a second, the gap between them. It's now down to 0.8 of a second, so Garelli is coming, and there's not a great deal Tobias Dauenhauer can do about it. Having gained the place, Vladimir Choitzis now loses it again as Alessandro Brigatti dives through on the braking area for Doohan at turn number 2, so short-lived was his 4th position. Took the place at turn 14, and in reality, just 2 corners later, he's lost the place again. Oh, and there is Julia Landau, I'm afraid to say. The number 8 PK Carsport Chevy, having had a rotation, should get the car pointing in the right direction, but that's going to drop Julia Landauer way down through the order. She was in 7th. She's going to finish, I would have thought, down in the mid-teens by the time she's got that car recovered. So, Vittorio Garelli has, in the meantime, picked up the lead of the race from Tobias Dauenhauer. Not sure where that happened. We didn't see it, but Garelli is now leading and is ahead of Tobias Dauenhauer. So quite where that happened, I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. Big snatch break there from Alessandro Brigatti, who runs very wide and almost makes contact with the stricken car of Sierra Esteban there that had stopped on the perimeter of the circuit. So scary moment there for Alessandro Brigatti, but quite where Vittorio Corelli got through it ahead of Tobias Dauenhauer, I'm not entirely sure. What I do know is that mathematically now, that means that Corelli would become the champion by just 2 points. Tobias Dauenhauer has got to drive as hard as he can, or hope that there's a safety car to punch the field up once more. Corelli was 0.8 of a second behind Dauenhauer at the start of the lap. He's 1.1 seconds ahead of him at the end of the lap, and is absolutely flying. Now remember, he started 9th on the grid, did Vittorio Corelli. He would have been bitterly disappointed with the retirement yesterday, so the car started to fail on him in the qualifying session, where he parked it up out on circuit with about 5 or 6 minutes of the qualifying session to go. He had set a reasonable time in qualifying before the car failed him, so he started at the sharp end of the grid, but when the race got underway yesterday, the car just didn't have the pace. He was about 3 seconds off what otherwise he would have been, and then with a lap or two to go, finally the engine gave up. So as he didn't set a decent lap time because the car was giving him trouble, that was why he started 9th on the grid. As he parked the car up with a couple of laps to go, he didn't score as many championship points as otherwise he would have done, so that was why he lost the lead of the championship, and knew that he had to try and work his way through the order, knew that he had to get himself ahead of Tobias Dauenhauer if he wanted to claim the championship, and that's exactly what he's done, potentially heading on towards win number 5 of the season with now, some 6 or 7 laps to go. Is there anything Tobias Dauenhauer can do? Both of these cars being run by the same team as well. They are teammates. Both being run by Hendrick Motorsport, who are 1st and 2nd in the team's championship as well. But one side of the garage is going to be slightly happier than the other side of the garage at the end of this race. Which side it will be, we still don't know. So lap number 9 about to be concluded. Vittorio Corelli heading over the start-finish line in the lead of the race. Tobias Dauenhauer in 2nd place. Nicholas Risitano there in 3rd place in the black car with the orange flashes. The white and pink and green car is Choices, who is there in 4th place. And the red car with the checkers down the centre of it is going to be the car of Alessandro Brigatti. He is there in 5th position. Simon Palat is 6th. And Nave Talor having a good run. Good to see the 19-year-old Israeli having a good run on his return to the series. Number 89 car completes the top 7 at the moment. So there is Tobias Dauenhauer. He is the leading rookie in the field and is surely going to pick up the Rookie Trophy Championship title this year. But he needs to get himself back ahead of that car there if he wants to pick up the overall championship title. The leading legend we've got for the Legend Trophy for the drivers aged over 40s, Kenko Miura once more again. Solid weekend from the Japanese driver, down in 11th position. And leading the Lady Cup now is Ariana Casserly as a result of Julia Landauer's issues. So Ariana Casserly running in 14th position, leading the Lady Trophy. So Corelli is now nearly 2 seconds up the road from Tobias Dauenhauer. Now is Dauenhauer getting caught from the cars behind? Risitano is 3.8 seconds behind him, so that's the gap I'll keep my eye on. See as to whether Nicholas Risitano is catching up with Tobias Dauenhauer. He's going to rub further salt in the wound. This is Giovanni Trione fighting away with Kenko Miura. Now this is for the final place inside the top 10. We've got the lap car of Mirko Schultes in on the mix as well, as he trying to carve his way through the order. Mirko Schultes, though, we remember, was in the pit lane with issues with his car, but whatever it is, they've clearly sorted those issues because he's flying. He's unlapping himself from Kenko Miura. So through goes Schultes. Unlapped himself. That's all. That isn't a change for position. The number 70 is 2 or 3 laps drift as a result of being called into the pits. Now, Tobias Dauenhauer, have a quick look. Yeah, Nicholas Risitano is closing in. Yeah, Risitano has brought that gap down. They are both losing ground to Vittorio Corelli, who's now leading the number 18 car by 4 seconds in this one. On to lap number 10. So 5 more to go after the one that he is on. And Corelli at the moment seems to have everything very much under control. Kenko Miura fighting away with Francesco Garisto. Damage to the back end of Garisto's car. That was the car that I think shed its bodywork when we had the safety car come out and got the race back underway. You can see the rear bodywork of the car having gone missing. Francesco Garisto, another driver who knew he had work to do, he was pushed to the back of the grid. as a result of actions in yesterday's race, and has got lots of damage on his car to deal with. Not quite as much as Martin Dubecker's got. So I think that might have been the car that hit the tail end of Garisto, possibly. So Dubecker's got damage to the front left wing. The front right wing is entirely missing off the number 7 Hendricks Ford. But he's still going quickly. He's in 8th position. And remember, that's from almost the back of the grid, isn't it, for Martin Dubec? Started way down through the order in what would have been 18th position on the grid. He's now up into 8th. So that potentially could net him the extra 8 championship points for gaining the most places, starting position to finishing position. This is a great battle that's going on, isn't it? We've got the lapped car of Mirko Schultes in there, I know, but he is quick enough to stick with them all. But Giovanni Tironi in 10th place, Kenko Miura, Francesco Garisto, Yevgen Sokolovsky is there. Ariana Cassely's beginning to catch them up as well. So that's going to be 10th before too much longer, all the way down to 14th, busy fighting away. This is for the final podium spot as well, as the number 12 Solaris Motorsport Chevy of Nicholas Rusitano comes under pressure from Vladimir Choitzis, who takes a wider run coming in towards Doohan, which is turn number 2. Can he sneak up the inside as they get up towards turn number 3? No, not quite, and they are both catching Tobias Dauenhauer, who seems to be struggling in the number 50 Hendricks Ford. Took up the championship lead yesterday, did Dauenhauer, down into 2nd, and it might soon be down into 3rd or 4th if these guys can try and squeeze their way through and ahead. So it's Ford that leads, Ford 2nd, Chevy 3rd, Ford that's there in 4th position. We've seen plenty of success from the Fords this weekend. Fords have won every one of the 3 races that we've had. There's actually only 5 Fords in the field out of all of the cars. Certainly the Fords have had the pace and have largely been towards the sharp end of the grid on each occasion as well. Well, we're going to see an all-Ford podium. If Vladimir Choitzis can get through and ahead of the number 12, that would mean, yeah, leading Chevy gets bumped off the podium. So down the short straight, up towards turn number 12 they are heading, which is Champieros. Schultes has got his hands full, hasn't he? He's got Giovanni Tironi. He's desperate to try and unlap himself from, but I think Francesco Garisto was trying to pull a move and sneak up the inside there. And now black and white warning flag going out for car number 6 and car number 50. Well, number 50 we know is the car that sits there in 2nd position, Tobias Dauenhauer. The number 6 is Simon Palat, who is running in 6th position. Largely sort of black car, Simon Palat. So Tobias Dauenhauer under pressure for 2nd place. Mathematically, he's going to lose the championship lead in this final race of the season, and is now receiving the black and white warning flag, and he's having to defend from Nicholas Rusitano, who's got 2 wheels on the grass and surely has prized the door open as they head up towards doing lock brakes from Tobias Dauenhauer. Means he drops from 2nd to 3rd and then 3rd to 4th, and Choitzis is going to unlock the door here, is he, to try and work his way into 2nd? No, not quite. Rusitano covers the move off as they head round through turn number 3. So Nicholas Rusitano now up into 2nd, Vladimir Choitzis up into 3rd, and Tobias Dauenhauer, it's all starting to go wrong for him. He's now down into 4th position and is ever more now likely to finish as the runner-up in the championship of 2020. Off has gone Mirko Schultes and Giovanni Tironi. They've been fighting for lap after lap after lap. Contact has been made. Schultes will dig himself out of the gravel trap, and Giovanni Tironi will be probably less impressed with the fact that that was a lapped car that was trying to overtake him and contact was made. Hopefully Tironi will be able to continue. And is this now going to bring out a safety car? Don't know. It's covered by local yellows at the moment. Now that is a big lock break from Rusitano. That will surely create a flat spot. It's on the unloaded wheel, I know, but it certainly will have not done that general tyre any good at all. So yellow flag's waving. Only localised still at the moment at this stage. No news we are going to safety car just as yet. Rusitano under pressure for 2nd place from Choitzis. Fresh from a podium yesterday, Choitzis might be on for another podium today, and he gets a good run coming out of Adrian Campos, and he's going to draw himself alongside of Nicholas Rusitano, and should have the inside line when they get up towards Atpere, which is the 1st corner. So are we going to see Rusitano drop down into 3rd position? No, he's fighting back on the run up towards Atpere. So Rusitano hangs on to 2nd. Choitzis is still there in 3rd. Tobias Dauenhauer is there in 4th place. Alessandro Bugatti's not far away, is he, in the red car in 5th position. And all of them are absolutely together heading in towards Doohan. Chevy, Ford, and then another Chevy turning their way through turns number 3. Solaris Motorsport, Alex Caffey Motorsport, Hendricks Motorsport, Feed Vic Racing. So 4 different drivers, 4 different teams, 4 entirely different liveried cars. Nice and easy to pick off as the sunlight glints off them, and we are now on the penultimate lap as well. And remember, Vittorio Garelli is way up the road from this lot now. He is now 11 seconds up the road from this quartet of cars fighting over 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, with the next batch of cars beginning to close in as well. Simon Palat and Nave Talor aren't too far away, so we could have 6 cars fighting away for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th before too much longer. But for Nicholas Risitano, he'll be desperate to try and hang on to 2nd position. So far this weekend, Nicholas Risitano's best result has been a 3rd place. His best result all season for Nicholas Risitano is a 3rd place. Well, he's now in 2nd position at a track that he won at last year as well. It's his only career win in EuroNASCAR so far at this circuit. It's a circuit he likes and enjoys. And if he wants to get his best result of the season in the final race of the season, there's more work to do, because Choices is sniffing around, looking for any sort of opportunity to try and just prise that door open. He's closing at the wheel of the Ford as they head down the 650 metre straight. So Risitano will cover it off in towards Aspar, the right-hander. And yeah, it's just far enough ahead. As long as he's neat and tidy coming out of the corner, he should be fine. Tobias Downhauer might be in trouble here, because he might lose 4th position, because it certainly looked as though the red car, of Alessandro Brigatti is absolutely on his tailpipes now. In towards Doohan they'll go. Tobias Downhauer trying to defend from Alessandro Brigatti. Simon Palat and Nave Talor not far away as well. So we haven't quite now got 6 for these squabbles, because the front 2 have just managed to escape a little bit from Tobias Downhauer, who really is struggling now with the car. So we are now onto the last lap of the race. And well, for that man there, Vittorio Garelli, he would have been bitterly disappointed yesterday, losing the lead of the championship, with the car failing on him so late on in the race. And well, how a night's sleep and fortunes can turn when the sun comes up the next day, because Garelli is now just a matter of half a lap away from taking the checkered flag, taking the win. That would be his 5th of the season, and potentially lifting the championship trophy and getting the TJ Titanium Championship ring on his finger as well. So here comes Vittorio Garelli up towards what is the final corner of racing for EuroNASCAR 2 this year, and it is surely going to be a win for Vittorio Garelli. He comes out in the final corner, and Vittorio Garelli is going to charge his way up towards the start-finish line and take the checkered flag and become, subject to official confirmation, the 2020 EuroNASCAR 2 champion in the NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series. 2nd place in the race is surely going to go the way of Nicholas Risitano. There's still some great fights going on down through the order, but Risitano does manage to hang on to it from Vladimiras Choices, who comes through and finishes in 3rd position. Hadn't had a podium until yesterday. He's now had 2 as Vladimiras Choices. Genko Miura is still busy fighting away as well. That is with Yevgen Sokolovsky, and that's for the lead of the Legend Trophy, actually. And that's changed around, because Genko Miura was ahead of the Ukrainian. Well, now Yevgen Sokolovsky has taken 12th place away, and that would put him up to the top of the Legend Trophy standings as well for this race. So can Genko Miura do anything at the final corner? Don't think so. It looks as though Yevgen Sokolovsky might, by the skin of his teeth, hang on to it. But Kenko's coming back, he gets a good exit coming out of Adrian Campos, but I don't think he's quite going to be able to do it as they head over the start-finish line, just to confirm. And when they take the checkered flag, which they do now, Yevgen Sokolovsky managed to do it by 1/10 of a second. Wow, what a race, what a season. It's thrown lots of different things at us. Plenty of challenges around the world generally at the moment, but one of the big challenges that Vittorio Garelli has had to overcome in 2020, not COVID-19 or the pandemic, but having to overcome the disappointment of yesterday, where he lost the lead of the championship, and today he knew what he had to do. He has managed to beat his teammate in the Hendricks Motorsport team. And it does mean that, subject to official confirmation, Vittorio Garelli, 419 points he will end up in terms of the championship, if I've got the maths right. 413 points for Tobias Downhauer, so a 6-point advantage. And poor Garelli, he will be absolutely delighted with that. Nicholas Risitano, his fellow countryman, giving him the thumbs up and pulling the number 12 Solaris Motorsport car alongside. We are hoping also, ladies and gentlemen, hang around, we are hoping to be able to bring you the podium presentations for the race, and fingers crossed we will bring you the overall championship presentations as well. They would usually take place separately over in America, when the drivers would fly out there for the main NASCAR awards, but obviously with what's going on in the world at the moment, the championship awards are being done almost immediately after the race podiums, so we will try and endeavour to bring you all of those, so it's well worth hanging around. We'll hear from the race winner, and then we will head, once from victory lane, up to the podiums for our podium presentations, and hopefully that will be something we will be able to bring you live for this race, and hopefully we'll be able to bring them live as well for the final EuroNASCAR Pro race. So Garelli, I know what's going to happen now. Anybody hungry? We're going to have some donuts. He's just going to wait for the whole field to work his way by, and then he is going to celebrate in the traditional fashion. Vittorio Garelli, his 5th win of the season, and he doesn't need to worry about those slick tyres anymore. The general tyres that all of the cars run, he can just burn them up now. Once he gets the nod from race control that all of the cars are back in the pit lane area, then he will be able to celebrate in the traditional fashion and do some big donuts. Needs to get the car spinning a little bit more, didn't quite manage it that time. He's going to have another go at it. Let's have a quick look. Right. No, not quite what we're expecting, but he's certainly very, very, very happy as Vittorio Garelli. I think Francesco Garisto was going to have a go at some donuts as well, but probably was told otherwise by the clerk of the course. So we didn't quite get the donuts that we wanted from Vittorio Garelli, but we are going to get a very, very happy champion who will be heading in towards victory lane. We need to get Simon Palat's car out of harm's way to start with. So he seems to have sort of stopped really where I thought we would have Vittorio Garelli stopping. There we go, Simon Palat's car moves out of harm's way, which now allows Vittorio Garelli to head in towards his spot at victory lane. And already you can hear the cheers from the team. Absolute delight, banging the bonnet of the cars, hands aloft. Vittorio Garelli, subject to official confirmation until all of the technical checks are done and all of the footage is reviewed by race control. So it might be a few hours yet before it's officially confirmed, but surely Vittorio Garelli is the champion for 2020. Out of the Hendricks, Ford he goes. There we go. You can see the raw emotion of Vittorio Garelli as he adds his name to the long, long list of former champions in EuroNASCAR 2. And largely what's happened is when drivers win in EuroNASCAR 2, if they're going to stick with the series, they move up to EuroNASCAR Pro. There is Mauro Trioni giving him a big hug as well. Mauro Trioni's in there. Hugely likeable chap is Mauro Trioni. And yeah, Vittorio Garelli, just rightly so, receiving the congratulations from everybody. So it might be a few minutes yet before we start to see the crash helmet come off. And unfortunately, we won't get to see the smile. I think that's what's probably quite sad about 2020, because Vittorio Garelli is going to have a huge, huge grin on his face. We're just not going to be able to see it, unfortunately, because as soon as he takes the balaclava off and the hands device, he's going to have to put the mask on to chat to us. There we go. So many people just wanted to congratulate him. How he picked himself up after yesterday's disappointment, only he and the team will know. But whatever he did, his mindset was he knew the task ahead of him in that race, and he dealt with it beautifully well. He overtook his teammate and has now managed to bring the car home, not just for the win, but also for the championship title. So the last few congratulations being given. On goes the mask, which means we can now hand you downstairs to Andre, who's going to chat to our champion in EuroNASCAR 2.
And now we're here with the new EuroNASCAR 2 champion. You had to win, you did it. Just tell us, how you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very tough race, starting from P9, but there was no other result I wanted to do. So I just went for it every lap, pushing like hell, and the car was perfect. Thanks also to Team Hendricks. Yesterday, after the engine blew up, I was P2 in the championship and lost all the job I did from lap 1. Congrats also to my teammate, because he pushed me very hard over the limits, and he's a very good driver. So yeah, very happy. Thanks to my sponsors, my family, and all the person that support me every day.
And how are you going to celebrate this today?
Yeah, for sure. I was dreaming of this, and it's a very nice result, for sure, yeah. And after yesterday, all the bad luck, we managed to do a super race from P9 and get the win.
All right, congratulations, Vittorio Garelli.
Great to hear from Vittorio Garelli. There's still lots of cheers for Vittorio, and rightly so. We are hoping to be able to hang around to bring you the podium presentations from that race, and also the championship presentations that will be taking place as well shortly after that. So just to confirm the results, Vittorio Garelli claiming the win and the championship, Nicholas Risitano finishing in second place, and Vladimir Choitsis was third. He, however, was also the leading rookie home, so he will stand on the top step of the Rookie Trophy podium. Fourth was number 50 Tobias Downhauer, and fifth was Alessandro Brigatti, with Simon Palat completing the top six. Nave Talon, non-championship scoring in terms of points, but finished in seventh place. Martin Dubeck with his battered Ford finished in eighth place, and Levi Lantakantu was ninth place, ahead of Julia Landauer, who finished 10th and also was the leading driver home in the Lady Trophy. Francesco Garisto was in 11th place, 12th place, and on the very final lap took the lead of the Legend Trophy for those drivers aged over 40 was Yevgen Sokolovsky. He took it away from the car that finished behind him in the end. In 13th place, Kenko Miura. 14th was Ariana Casali, and 15th was number 33, which was Eric Quintal. 16th was Sierra Esteban. 17th was Mirko Schultis. 18th, and in the gravel towards the end, was Giovanni Cironi. And we saw what happened to poor old Dylan Dairdala as his car was pitched into a spin somehow around the circuit, backwards into the gravel trap. Had to be recovered out of the gravel and brought about a safety car, so it was retirement from him. So that is the last race for EuroNASCAR 2 for this year. We've still got two more races coming up later on today. Both of those will be for EuroNASCAR Pro. They are their two finals races, i.e. both of those races later on today will have double championship points attached to them. That championship is still wide open as well, so whilst we have, subject to official confirmation, crowned one champion, we've got another champion to crown later on today. But Vittorio Girelli will be picking up the championship trophy for EuroNASCAR 2 and that fantastic TJ designed and supplied titanium ring, the champion's ring that goes with it. TJ, one of several supporters to this series that we just couldn't do it without. Of course, the title sponsors, Whelen Engineering. Badged as the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series are Control Tyre supplier General Tyre, who've been with us for a couple of seasons now. Kenall with their performance oils that are utilised amongst the championship, and McDonald's as well, who also are involved in this series. Vital sponsors, and we simply couldn't do it without them all. Whilst the season has finished for EuroNASCAR 2 for this year, it won't be that much longer and we'll be able to get things back underway again. And amazingly, we get the season in 2021 started back at this very circuit as well. So it's going to close our 2020 season, but it will open the 2021 season, because we've returned to Circuit Ricardo Tormo for rounds 1 and 2 of the championship over the weekend of the 17th and 18th of April in 2021, if everything continues to go to plan. We will then head towards the NASCAR Grand Prix of Italy. That will take place at Autodromo di Vallelunga, just outside of Rome, 15th and 16th of May, and then it's on to Autodrome Most in the Czech Republic for June the 19th and the 20th. Returning to Brands Hatch in the UK for American Speedfest, that is the 3rd and 4th of July. How appropriate, Independence Day. And we'll see the second day of action at Brands Hatch in the UK. And then from there, it's on to the Hockenheimring in Germany in July, just a couple of weeks after Brands Hatch, the 17th and 18th of July. But then there's a bit of a hiatus because it's 2 months after that, in mid-late September, 18th and 19th of September, that we go to Autodrome Grobnik in Croatia, returning to the beautifully picturesque circuit at Autodrome Grobnik. And the finals next season will be at Zolder in Belgium, where historically they've tended to be for a good number of years. Originally, the finals were scheduled to be at Hockenheim for this year, if memory serves me correctly. But with all the changes to the calendar, it's been a great opportunity for Circuit Ricardo Tormo to entertain us on what has been a solid weekend of racing so far. But that is only 6 of the 8 races done and dusted. We've still got 2 more to come, as we say. So the drivers will be working their way up towards the podium presentations. We will try and stick with them if at all possible. We will also try and do that very same thing, I would imagine, for the final race for EuroNASCAR Pro. That is scheduled to take place later on this afternoon, and then hopefully we can then enjoy the celebrations on the podium. The Hendricks team is still busy congratulating each other. It's been a tough year, hasn't it? Generally for everybody, 2020 has been a year to forget, really, but hopefully there's some big smiles on faces from people down there. I think what we can do, whilst we wait for the podiums to be organised, we can have a look back at some of the highlights from earlier on this weekend.
Nicolas.
And the race winner, driving the 80 car Hendrix Motorsport, Vittorio Girelli.
So there we go, heading out onto the circuit, the overall podium taking place. Vladimiras Joitsis, Nicholas Risitano and Vittorio Girelli on the overall race podium here for our Super Speed Week in Valencia. And let's just respect the national anthem.
Please take the trophies for the photos.
So there we go, the Italian national anthem, the trophies being handed out, and a nice touch on Nicholas Risitano's shirt there. Not sure whether you can read Italian, but it says, "Don't worry, baby, Daddy's coming home soon," it says on the t-shirt. So a nice little touch by Nicholas Risitano. So the champagne is about to fly on our socially distanced podium. Congratulations to Vittorio Girelli on claiming the final race win of the 2020 NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series, flanked to his left, the right of yours, his right, the left of your screen by Nicholas Risitano, and to the other side with the green patches on the overalls, Vladimiras Joitsis claiming his second podium of the season, his second podium of the weekend. So that is our overall race podium, is the first of those. We will then redress the podium, and we will then have our legend podium that will be coming up. We'll then go through the rookie podium and the lady trophy podium. That is the order in which they will do them. We will then have the championship podiums taking place, which will be overall championships for the championship for legends for rookie and lady, and we'll also have the EuroNASCAR Club Challenge as well, which took place on Thursday, where Alan Muscaron claimed back-to-back titles in the regularity tests, in reality the NASCAR Club Challenge. So podium being redressed, we will then move on with the legend podium for the race that we have just seen, and what a fight it was, because it was only decided, wasn't it, on the very final lap. The legend podium still has work to do. So the legend podium finishing in third position in the legend category. Ariana Cassoli heads out onto the podium. Second will be Kenko Miura, and the winner of the legend category, the legend trophy, Yevgen Sokolovsky. So shaking the hands of Kenko Miura and Ariana Cassoli. So there is our legend podium. That is for drivers aged 40 and over that compete in EuroNASCAR 2. And it was only on the final lap that Yevgen Sokolovsky was able to take that position away. So big thumbs up from them all. Solid weekend also for Kenko Miura on the left of your screen on his return to the NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series. And are they going to spray the champagne? No, they're going to disappear off. They're going to save the champagne for later on. So we'll then move on to our rookie podium. And these are four drivers in that race that we've just seen that are in their first full season of racing in the NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series EuroNASCAR 2 division. So it should be Simon Palat that will be heading out onto the third step of the podium.
Driving the number 6, Simon Palat.
There we go, so Simon Palat heading out onto the third step of the podium. Second, he might be slightly disappointed. Tobias Dauenhauer, oh, what could have been tough to pick yourself up and head out onto the podium when you've just seen a championship elude you. So Tobias Dauenhauer might not be the happiest guy on that podium. And the winner of the rookie category in the race we've just seen back onto the podium is Vladimiras Joitsis. So rather athletically leaps up onto the podium. Photographs being taken, and yeah, just look at the body language of the guy on the left, Tobias Dauenhauer. He looks like he's been hit by a bus, doesn't he? How difficult it must be to go out and do that when you've just lost the overall championship by just a handful of points to your teammate. And you can see he just walks away from the podium instantly, whereas the other two certainly want to celebrate. Simon Palat has had a solid weekend, his best weekend so far in the series. Simon Palat, his rookie season, racing for Feedvic Racing. He's one of the younger drivers in the field, Simon Palat, in the black and the green and the red overalls. Just 18 years of age. However, he managed to beat Vladimiras Choitzis when it came to getting the cork out of the champagne, and Choitzis is giving up the Cypriot. So there we go, that's our rookie podium done and dusted, and then we will have our lady trophy podium for the race that we have just seen, before we then move on to the championship podiums, which will be coming up after this one that we're about to do. So the podium is redressed, and heading out onto the podium is Julia Landauer. Heads out onto the podium. She is the winner of the Lady Trophy, and will be absolutely delighted with what is a solid weekend for Julia Landauer. She might have had a spin. She might have dropped down through the order slightly in that race, but she still came home as the first of the ladies home in what has been a great weekend for her. Third overall in one of the races yesterday. So that is now the race podiums done. We will now move on very shortly to the championship podiums. These would usually be done on the awards evening over with the main NASCAR series in America, where all of the NASCAR series from Canada, from Mexico, from America and from Europe all come together for the Night of Champions. Well, understandably, that's not happening. So the championship awards are going to be done on the podium here in just a few moments' time, and there will be big smiles and big cheers all round for Vittorio Garelli. Tobias Downhauer is going to pick up a fine trophy for a really hard-fought second place in the championship, and third in the championship is going to have gone the way of Alessandro Brigatti, if I've got the maths correct. So we will get those drivers, you can see them all queuing ready to head out there for the podiums. The trophies slowly arriving out. So this will be the overall championship trophy, the legend trophy, the rookie trophy and the lady trophy, in that order, before we then move on to the club challenge. So there'll be 5 more podiums to deal with, and the trophies for this first batch just being put out there now together with the champagne, and then we can hopefully get the nod that the drivers are ready, the podium is dressed, and they'll be making their way out to celebrate what has been a really hard and fought season. The racing is always hard, it's always pure, that's the one thing you can say about NASCAR racing, it is pure racing, but it's been a hard fought season, as we say. Might have started later in the year than anybody expected. Who could have known at the beginning of 2020 what the year was going to turn out like? But hats off to Team FJ and all of the organisations and all of the key partners and the circuits and the teams who have dealt with not knowing on occasions what's happening, the fluidity of the situation changing continually, but we have got a full racing season in, and we are about to crown our champion. So there we go, finishing in third overall in the championship in 2020 in EuroNASCAR 2. Alessandro Brigatti for Feed Vic Racing. Second in the championship, Tobias Dauenhauer for Hendricks Motorsport heads out, finishing in second position overall in the championship. Was the championship leader until that race, but the champion for this year, it is Vittorio Garelli, who claims the championship and is about to pick up the championship trophy for 2020. Leaps up onto the podium, receives the congratulations of Alessandro Brigatti and Tobias Dauenhauer. Now it's time for the Italian national anthem.
And the championship trophy is presented by NASCAR Wheel Euro Series President Jerome Galpin.
So the trophy is about to be presented by the president of the NASCAR Wheel Euro Series. Jerome Galpin is fist bumping all of the drivers and gives the champions trophy to Vittorio Garelli. Jerome and his team do so much work to put this championship on and continually push it forward, and the support of now all of our NASCAR friends over in the States is absolutely vital as well. So champagne is going to fly again on the podium. Vittorio Garelli's already wet from the first champagne shower. He's about to get another soaking from both Alessandro Brigatti and his teammate Tobias Dauenhauer, who, as we say, So there's only one driver can win the championship, and today they fell in favour of Vittorio Garelli and just didn't fall in favour of Tobias Dauenhauer. But it is Tobias Dauenhauer's rookie season. That's the position that Vittorio Garelli was in last year. It was his rookie season, and a year later he's the champion. So maybe Tobias Dauenhauer, if he returns to EuroNASCAR 2 for next year, he will be the driver in his second year, like Garelli is now, lifting the championship title and the trophy at the end of a hard-fought season. We will now move on to the championship trophies for the Legends category. So the drivers aged over 40, and then we will have those going out. We're just having a quick interview down there for circuit purposes with Vittorio Garelli, and that has been done and dusted. The podium to be redressed in the meantime, hopefully. We can very quickly then get the Legend category drivers out. So once that interview is done and dusted, so it will be the circuit PA that's hearing this rather than if you're watching on the stream, so we can't pick out what Vittorio Garelli is saying, but we'll no doubt be just going through how yesterday he was the one that was disappointed and picked himself up, dusted himself down after that retirement, and has now managed to do the task that he needed to do. Ninth on the grid, had to get himself ahead of Tobias Dauenhauer if he wanted to reclaim the championship lead in the final race, and did exactly that. Went on to win by what was nearly 15 seconds in the end, 14.91 seconds he won by. So the Legend category is due out now. This is for drivers aged over 40 in the EuroNASCAR 2 division. Ariana Casali has largely led that category throughout the course of the season.
And we start with third place. It's a 33 of Mission Motors with Eric Quintal.
So onto the podium comes Eric Quintal for Michu Motors. He finishes third in the Legend Trophy for 2020. Second is Yevgen Sokolovsky, comes through and finishes second in the Legend category. And the top step of the podium goes the way of Ariana Casali. Congratulations to her. She's been the winner on 2 separate occasions of the Lady Trophy, but it's the first time she has picked up the category of Legend Trophy champion. So congratulations to her. The photographs being taken there on the podium, and then once the photographs have been taken, I suspect they will save the champagne again. Ariana looks really, really happy. She worked so hard to try and raise the budget to keep racing all of the time, and has been around this championship for a very good number of years, driving the number 54 Cal Racing machine. 46 years of age nowadays, twice a runner-up in the Lady Championship, Lady Trophy, twice a champion in the Lady Trophy, but now a Legend Trophy champion this year. So after that, we'll now move on to the rookie category for this season, which means that we will see heading out 3 more trophies, 3 more bottles of champagne, and our 3 drivers associated with the top 3 places in the rookie category. So it's Julia Landauer that finishes 3rd position in the rookie category for this year. 2nd place, Vladimiras Choitsis. He managed to move himself up from 3rd in the standings to 2nd in the standings as a result of what he just did in that final race of the season. And the top step of the podium, the rookie champion for this year, Tobias Dauenhauer, missed out on the overall trophy, but is the rookie champion for this year. So congratulations to Julia Landauer, to Vladimiras Choitsis, and to Tobias Dauenhauer. They've all done great things in their rookie seasons, and a bit like last year, we've seen rookies go on and win the championship this year. I suspect if any one of those 3 remain in EuroNASCAR 2 for next year, they are going to be absolutely championship favourites. And then after we've had the rookie championship podium, we will move on to the Lady Trophy podium, and we will have heading out to the podium 2 ladies. We had 3 this weekend, but we've had 2 with us for the full season. So out comes Ariana Casali, 2nd in the Lady Trophy this year, runner-up again for the 3rd time. But the top step of the podium, the Lady Trophy champion for 2020 in EuroNASCAR 2 is Julia Landauer. Congratulations to Julia Landauer.
Please take the trophies for the photos.
So there we go. Lady Trophy podium for 2020 goes the way of Julia Landauer. And with that podium done and dusted, there's just one more now to get through before we can then sign off and look forward to the EuroNASCAR Pro races that are coming up later on. And this is for the NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series Club Challenge, as it's based, as it's badged for this year. And that is for the regularity tests that take place usually the day before we get racing action underway. And it will be the top 3 drivers that will come out in this one. It is a separate championship where the drivers have a benchmark time that's set by the officials. They have to try and hit close to as possible. So finishing 3rd in the series for this year, Gordon Barnes comes out and heads onto the 3rd step of the podium. 2nd in the podium is Federico Monti, who makes his way up onto the 2nd spot for the podium. But back-to-back championships in the Club Challenge now go the way of Alain Mousqueron, who heads out with the DF1 Tiger onto the grid. So as part of the DF1 team, Alain Mousqueron claimed that championship title last year and is now a back-to-back champion in the NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series Club Challenge. So there we go. The trophies are going to get held aloft for the photographs. I think they're maybe trying to see whether they can get the Tiger up. No, sitting down, right, okay. Alain Mousqueron sits the Tiger down, the DF1 Tiger, and photographs being taken. They're not lifting the trophies up for the photos, which I thought they might do. Right, they've now been given the thumbs up. Have they lift the trophies up, guys? And then big smiles all around. We won't be able to see the smiles, but they'll be there, that's absolutely for sure. And that should now be our final championship podium taking place. And Alain Mousqueron is going to want to spray the champagne. The DF1 Tiger would be wise to get out of the way here, because I would imagine that costume is not the easiest thing to try and wash if it gets covered in champagne. Gordon Barnes struggling to get the cage off. He's not going to try and deal with the cork. Federico Monti, I think, is quite happy to hang on to his champagne. Right, here we go. What's going to happen? The DF1 Tiger's still hanging around. Lots of instructions being given. No champagne being sprayed just as yet. And that is our final podium for the moment here in Ricardo Tormo. So champagne flies on the NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series Club Challenge podium. Congratulations to Gordon Barnes, Federico Monti, and to Alain Mousqueron, who is now a back-to-back champion in the Club Challenge. So that is it for the moment from Circuit Ricardo Tormo on our Super Speed Week here, where we are bringing the curtain down and already have done on the Club Challenge and on EuroNASCAR too, but we still got the crown our champion for EuroNASCAR Pro, and the first of the 2 races for them today are coming up later on, and they will all be streamed live as well. The live stream gets underway if you're watching in Central Europe at 1:10 in the afternoon. That is 7:10 Eastern time in the US. And the final race, where we're highly likely to be crowning our EuroNASCAR Pro champion, I think it will go down to the wire, is scheduled to get underway, the stream at least, at 15:55 Central European time. That's 9:55 Eastern time in the US. So from everybody at Circuit Ricardo Tormo and the NASCAR Wheeling Euro Series, thanks for joining us for this one. We've claimed one champion, but be back later on where we'll crown another one. Until then, it's goodbye.